Good evening, Wool Gatherers, and welcome to episode 180 of Wanderings and Wool Gathering. On tonight's episode, we hit the Wayback Machine, and we are going back to 1975, and we are revisiting Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. Huge, popular record, different from a lot of his other records, so we're going to dig in, find out if we like it, what we dug about it, and questions we have. Hopefully our audience members can chime in. Wink, wink. And we're also going to be picking that one song. If you only had one song to hear for the rest of your life, every time you listen to music, it had to be that one song. What would it be? Tonight, we're going to find out. We did have some audience participation, and we will share theirs as well. And of course, I don't do this alone. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Metalhead Mundy.
Step inside into his mind. It's boy band time. It's
Metalhead Mundy.
Yay! There
Here I am. Can you see the sweat on my brow from this Herculean task I performed?
I had a hiccup getting rolling on this, and I'll explain why in just a minute. And we invited Teabags back, and really the only reason we want him on the show is so we can hear his theme song. Here it is, Teabags.
Swinging deep into the valleys of Liptonia.
That's nasty.
Able to plunge from high altitudes, only to land with a gentle splat.
That's nasty.
Receiving only the finest education from his instructor, Earl Grey. It's Teabags, too hot for TV.
Hey there.
Hey.
I mean,
okay, you can go now.
In fairness, the only reason I come back is to hear the song. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't show up either. So
yeah, mission accomplished.
all right. Oh, we have comments already. Uh-oh. This episode's gonna be hot. All right. There's our first update. Mundy better be nervous. And the second one is unsubscribe pending.
Might as well hit it now.
If 2/3 of us like this, then she needs to stay subscribed.
Yes. I feel pretty confident that we can accomplish that tonight.
Yeah.
So I brought up something first. I just want to talk briefly about this, maybe just a couple of minutes. But, getting ready for the show, it takes a couple of days because you really have to dig in. You have to look through notes and all that kind of stuff and listen to every song and make notes. So it's a bit of an effort. And so as I was preparing to do that, I came across this video that I sent out as quickly as possible. And it was the one that was Ren talking about how he was being sued because he purchased a beat that was basically not paid for by the company he bought it from. And he caught himself in a big mess, and he had to pull Sick Boy. And if he were to put Sick Boy back up online, other people that he did not respect were going to profit from that song. So, suffice to say, on the 9th, we are getting the Cujo Beatdown song, which I cannot wait to hear what he has to say. And then following that, not too long, I believe, we will get the second version of Sick Boy without that beat. So I am super stoked for that.
I thought the beatdown was like coming up. I thought it was maybe the 5th or something. Is it the 9th?
Oh, you know what? It is. It is 9/5. I think you're right. I saw the 9.
Okay.
It was exactly a week from the day that the video came out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind popping on and doing a quick one after that comes out because I'm really curious.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed a lot of the conversations back and forth, and he was very generous to the other side, and he was very respectful. Yeah. And they crapped all over him. So I'm kind of interested to see what he's going to say.
The only thing I'll say about that, because I know we have a show to do, but I paused it because he gave you the opportunity to pause and read through the stuff as he put it online. And the other guy talks a big game, but has not shown a single receipt throughout the whole thing. And Ren has put everything up. So I have a feeling Ren is in the right, and it's about to get ugly. So I'm looking forward to that part. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it. So
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So
yeah, I put it. If you go back to the text, it's right before Glass Beams. So
okay, yeah.
It was on Friday, I think, is when I shared that with you. so you can take a
Yeah.
peek at it.
And after we're done with this, Steve, I'll tell you how Europeans do their dates. So
Well, I was in France when I read it, so
oh, okay, sorry.
yeah, so my bad.
I just
Oh.
saw a band, a European band that posted their American tour dates, and they posted them all in the European. I'm like, there are people that are going to screw that up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
No, I think I'm just dumb. So that's probably what that has to do with. All right. So I've got to share some choices by people. We had some viewers chime in and give us some of the songs that they would listen to if it was the only thing they had left. So I want to run through those before we get to ours quickly.
Okay.
First up, Michael Saravolo does Prayers for Rain by The Cure. Would be his choice. It's Mr. Beauty and Chaos himself, Mr. Schecter Guitars, Michael Saravolo.
Not a terribly surprising choice.
No, not at all. Friend of the show, Matthew Mundy, said Slide Away from Oasis.
A lot of Oasis in the news lately, and I don't, that's my cousin. I know he loves them. He's super excited about the tour. So,
Right.
Nice. Then we've got Farewell Andromeda from John Denver. It's Sistine's choice. Surprising, it's not a Dylan.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And then we've got Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 1 through 5. Bit of a cheat, but we'll accept it.
I like his style.
I know. April Cox says Edge of 17 from Stevie Nicks.
That's a good track.
Choice. Apparently, she ends all of her concerts with it. I haven't seen her in concert, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw her comment. That was pretty cool.
And then Down with the Sickness from Disturbed from Corey Ross. Yeah. Very good. And then we've got the last one of the write-ins is Love You to Death from Typo Negative from JPP. He said that's given his current mood, that is the song choice. So.
On the Typo Negative news, Super 7, I believe, is getting ready to release a Peter Steele action figure. So that's pretty cool.
Who is releasing it?
Super 7. They do all the the reaction figures, like the old school looking, figure, 3.5-inch figures.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Nice. All right, so that brings us to us. So, Mr. Mundy, who'd you have?
I mean, it's a song that I bring up a lot because it really is like my favorite song of all time. But it's Orion from Metallica, and that also I think works for this because one, it's a long song, it's very dynamic. There's a lot of different parts to it. It's heavy, it's melodic. There's a bass solo, and it's an instrumental, so I don't have to listen to anybody. If I can only listen to one song for the rest of my life, I don't have to get tired of anybody's voice. So.
Interesting idea. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
It's also a song that, I can put headphones in, listen to that, and just get lost. So,
yeah, good choice. That is a good
song.
Good
for a lot of things.
Awesome. I almost went down that road as far as finding a song that was long. I was thinking like 2112. They get 21 minutes every time I listen to the song, but ultimately I didn't do that. I love that song, but I went with my old favorite
Mayonnaise.
Took me about half a second to figure that out. Mayonnaise. Yep, I got the guitar tab on my arm, and I spent way too much on a single that Billy signed because it is by far my favorite song. I believe that's my wife's favorite song with me as well, and I could listen to it forever. It's got a little soft, a little heavy, and a lot of Billy. So. Good stuff.
That is a great track too. Yeah. Well, I did go down that road that Mundy went down. Pink Floyd Echoes is 23.5 minutes. And I didn't really go for it for that reason, other than I did like that everything was spaced out, and it did have kind of the same thing that Jeremy's talking about. You have lots of changes. So it's almost like getting a full album in with one song. But as much as I am a lyrics guy, that's where I was having trouble. It's like, what do I want to hear somebody say for the rest of time?
Yeah.
And I felt like that didn't have really too much of a mood attached to it. That, I mean, it does a little bit, but it was like poetic. So I've heard it in many different phases of life, and it means a lot of different things. So yeah, just being able to jam out for 23 and a half minutes and not have it come back on repeat in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a win for me. Yeah. But Pink Floyd too. Favorite.
I thought you were going to cheat and say the Pink Floyd discography. Typical fashion.
Well, then I would have to listen to their early stuff, which some of those first records were bad.
Yeah, well.
And you're not down with the Sidness?
Nicely done.
Boom.
Yes. Well,
You should have run out on that high note. Should have pulled a
Hi, guys.
Costanza.
yeah.
Saved yourself in the long run.
Leave studio.
That's my next T-shirt, Mundy. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, Mundy wins the award tonight. Down with the Sidness.
Well, I'm about to lose all the awards from your daughter. So.
Hey,
No, you are not. It's going to be wonderful. Because you're going to have reasons why, and once you have reasons, nobody can be upset about that, I don't think. All right.
Is that how the internet works?
Whew.
Yeah, right.
Very kind. It's a very kind place. Very forgiving.
For sure. Yeah.
So recently I caught a bunch of shit because somebody Facebook page that I like is the history of Batman. Okay. That's my favorite character. They post really cool stuff all the time. And so they posted something about the new Caped Crusader cartoon that just came out on Amazon. I loved it. It was great. It's catching a lot of crap for reasons. But all I said literally was, I loved every episode. I can't wait for the next season. Rash of shit after that. Just because I said I liked it.
How dare you like something?
I wasn't. I commented that on my own thing. I didn't react. I didn't, reply to any. Like, it was my own thing. Totally trash me. I'm like, all right.
Jeremy, are you woke? Are you all woke up?
Apparently,
Yeah.
that actually I think was the first reply to. Oh, so you like woke crap? Cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you care? Don't watch it.
All right. Got it.
Really? Wow. All right. Well, you cannot say that. If you don't like it, don't listen to it about this album, because you must listen. Everyone must listen. I'm going to get a hypnosis going. All right. So we're going back to 1975. We're going back to Blood on the Tracks. I'll read this little bit here that was given to us so everybody can kind of put themselves in this frame of reference. It is a return to Bob Dylan's roots with some traditional aspects of folk music. These songs use vernacular music to dive into the complexity of human emotion, from love and longing to regret and sorrow. In his reclusive, iconoclastic public life, this is the first album, 15 years into his career, where we see vulnerability of Dylan on his own condition. There we go. So, and I think reading that now, I see it in listening to the music. I didn't look at her notes, which I don't think I made her happy before I listened, but I wanted to have my own thoughts before I read what she said. So
I did the same thing. I listened to it, a couple times before, and then I sat down with all of that and went through it again. So same. I wanted to hear it just before I dove in like that.
Yeah.
So, Tony, what were your first impressions on your listen through?
Well, I had kind of talked a little bit with Sistine prior to this about some of this Dylan stuff from this era, and so I had a vested interest and a little bit of a head start on it. And so, but my initial thoughts were a couple of things. One, like I really loved Charles Bukowski growing up, and just like his way of writing, and it was like it was his voice, and he was saying what he saw, and he was tying some clever things in. And then I love Damien Rice, who's just a man with a guitar most of the time, or a man with a piano. And so like little things that I love kind of showed up in here. And I've always respected Bob Dylan as a songwriter. He's amazing. As a singer, it was kind of hit and miss for me at first. And then, but this collection, I really got into this collection, to be honest with you. And, I picked 3 or 4 tracks that I really loved. And then, like you guys, I went back and read. And I would say this is also another like little piece of things. Like I love to read, and I haven't had a lot of time to do that. But anytime you get a chance to dig in with somebody like Sistine, who's written so many detailed notes, that you get to pick up even more, So for me, I know I'm kind of rambling, but she mentioned Blood on the Tracks was a perfect title. I love the kind of play on tracks there, and kind of all of his things that he had bled and felt. And so I love that. I loved all the little things about it. And then digging into it, I really liked some of the music. There were some things I didn't like, but we'll get into it in a little bit. But I would say 3 or 4 tracks that are real highlights for me.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
Something I noticed going through the first time, and I don't know why I never picked up on it before, and it probably is just because I've never listened to this many in a row, like really focusing on it. But his music lacks chorus. I think there was only one track here that has true choruses, and that's Idiot Wind. Most of them are just verse, 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 maybe a bridge here and there. But essentially, it's not written like other people write music necessarily. To me, it screams that this is poetry to music.
Yes. Yeah.
Mundy, what do you think?
Tony, what you said about the title of the album, the Blood on the Tracks, I agree with that 100%. And yeah, Bob Dylan, I've said over and over and over again, he is not my cup of tea. I respect the hell out of him as a songwriter, as a lyricist, I should say. Much like the Beatles, I don't love their entire catalog, but I respect their place in music history and, their influence, Dylan and the Beatles, but Dylan specifically, his influence on so many artists that I love is undeniable. So it's not, I am not a Bob Dylan hater. His voice does not connect to my ear. That's it. I love plenty of singers with weird voices. I mean, I love Tom Waits, Glenn Danzig, Tony's favorite, Neil Young, Tom Petty, and so many, odd metal singers that they don't have conventionally great singing voices, but for whatever reason, man, when Dylan goes in my ear, it just it doesn't compute, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. And it's not, who cares, right? Who cares what I think? People love all kinds of artists that I don't like, and I love all kinds of artists that other people don't like. Who cares? But yeah, so this was not, it was a bit of a rough sit. So, I can look at it, I can read the lyrics and appreciate that. And, everything I've already said, but it's, I don't know. This is not something I will revisit often. So
yeah, that's fair. To that point,
this was interesting to me. This was an interesting experiment for me. So there's that.
No, that's good. You listened.
So what is
to that point though? The how much I love 9 Inch Nails, and so Trent didn't come out of the gate with Pretty Hate Machine blowing anybody away with with vocals, right? And so for me, being a lyrics person and the way that it connected, I wasn't overlooking his voice. I was just understanding why his voice was cracky and whiny and screamy in the places that it was.
Yeah.
Because it made sense for that album. But I remember playing it for some people and couldn't believe that they couldn't get into it, but they just were like, just don't really like how he sings, you know?
That's fair too.
That's
I
where it
mean,
goes.
yeah,
Exactly.
his stuff. I don't think he is the best singer ever either, but I love Nine Inch Nails, and his voice works more than it doesn't. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we are not gatekeepers of singers. That is for sure.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Corgan's not winning any awards, so but it's just
Yeah,
what it is, you know.
It's another one. He's got a weird voice, and a lot of people don't like that. But you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back a little bit on the poetry thing. What I didn't realize as well, so much structured meter. There is a ton of rhyme scheme. Like you would think that somebody like him who kind of goes off the beaten path and doesn't really subscribe to any kind of, normality or whatever would not stick to structure the way that he does. But there is rhyme scheme in so many of these songs. Kind of surprised that that he stuck to that convention, but it works. His rhymes feel natural. They're not forced. Like his voice or not, it works with the rhyme scheme. And I kind of like that part of it. And it dawned on me as I listened. It did not come to me immediately. So, let's jump in. I'm going to guess that we all like Tangled Up in Blue. It's one of the catchier songs on the record. It's got a great, one of the things that really stood out to me, because I always listen for drums and things. As the verse went on, when we get towards the end of each verse, the drum picked up and there was a real snappy drum beat in the background that I really dug.
Right. Yeah, that was cool.
It's definitely, we talk about the openers and closers on this show all the time. It's definitely a solid album opener. I feel like it certainly sets the tone for the rest of the album. And it's got this weird thing that is kind of cool, that it's the music is, and I think Sistine addressed this in her notes, but it's kind of an upbeat song. Like it feels upbeat, but the lyrics are definitely not that.
Right.
So, which I always think it's kind of a cool thing when musicians can successfully pull that off, like set a mood, and then the lyrics they don't really match that mood.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Was it this song that she was talking about, or I remember that?
I don't remember which song, but I'm pretty sure she said
they're all pretty brutal. It's not exactly a happy fun album. So I'm sure it was in this one as well as many others.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did have that feel for sure.
Yeah.
What I liked about it was going back to it. Now, this is one of I have top 4, but top 3 are on the album, and the 4th one is the one that she mentioned that should have been on there. I liked going back to the Bukowski, since that seemed disjointed. Like when I read Bukowski, it was like just this drunkard guy that would, go wandering the streets and betting on horses and just kind of lived his life, but told his stories in a poetic way. And this kind of just kept telling stories, and he's kind of moving on, but everything was woven together well. And I personally, liking poetry, I like that, coming back to ending each little portion with, Tangled in the Blue, just kind of roots everything. But I just loved how he described a lot of things too. Very poetic. I liked it.
Another song that kind of jumped out to me was "You're a Big Girl Now," and I liked it. To me, it was drastically different musically. Had this nice deep bass undertones. The drums were had a jazzier feel to them, and it had almost like a Spanish style guitar riff that was going on. And I did listen to part of another version of this that fit in with the record. I didn't like it nearly as much. I thought this one stood out based on the music. So great song. Love the music.
Yeah. Same. This was another one that before we went on the air, we were talking about this. Pretty much everything you said. I did not seek out a different version of this, but yeah, everything you said about the song, I would agree with. It's this one. I mean, I don't really know. I don't have much to add to that, but it was another standout for me. So.
Yeah, that one didn't make my list, but my favorite track on the entire album was "If You See Her, Say Hello."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if that made you guys' list or not, but
A line from it did.
which line? I'm curious because I've got some lines too.
Sundown, Yellow Moon. I replay the past. I know every scene by heart. They all went by so fast. It was towards the end of the song.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just I don't know. This is me and my sappy, drawn to the melancholy type thing. There was, let's see. Well, Sistine had highlighted that always have respected her for doing what she did and getting free. Oh, whatever makes her happy, I won't stand in the way. Though the bitter taste still lingers from the night I tried to make her stay. Like realizing that selfishness, and then the true love of it all being like, okay, I'm more happy for you to be happy than I am for me to be selfish. And so, but I think there was another line. Let's say I screenshotted it. Yeah, prior to leading into that, it says, "And though our separation, it pierced me to the heart. She still lives inside of me. We've never been apart," which I loved that. And then, if you get close to her, kiss her once for me. Always respected her for doing what she did and getting free. And it's just that, I don't know. I'm drawn to that kind of like lost love, longing, feeling, and
I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. I was laughing because you were pulling that line and Sistine had said that and Steve put it on the screen and you didn't even see it because you
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what else I really liked about this song? This was one of my top 4 as well. Of course, there was another one with a rhyme scheme that worked really well, but there was a cool mandolin instrument on this one that I think made it stand out a little bit as well. It's a little different from the typical folksy song and harmonica and all that. So I thought the mandolin was really cool on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great track. What else did you guys have?
Mundy?
Oh crap. Which one was it? The Meet Me in the Morning, right? That one was like it's real bluesy, and that's the one with he did the version with Jack White, which I did not seek out, but you can totally hear that. I mean, you can listen to this version and hear Jack White playing all of that. And I will find that because that sounds kind of cool. But yeah, this one was, I think, I don't know, more than anything, I feel it was the most different of most of these songs because they're all pretty folky and this one's just more bluesy. It's just a little more groovy and it stood out enough that caught my ear, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it screamed of the blues. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my top 5 track. I like that too.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm probably there too because the last 2 songs on the record are my next 2 favorite songs.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
you want to talk about Shelter from the Storm?
Yeah. What a great song. And that was one that I was drawn to initially. When I listened the first time, normally I just listen for the sound and the vibe and see if I can kind of get into the music. And then you go back and you listen to the lyrics. And I was kind of excited because I did catch one thing before I looked at her sheets. I loved the Christ reference. I offered up my innocence and I got repaid with scorn. I thought that was so powerful. Yeah. And I really kind of like this sentiment with this line. It said, just to think that it all began on an uneventful morn, like any other day. And then all this crap happens. And I don't know. And musically, this is such a listenable, like if you're not a Dylan fan, I think you can listen to this song and be like, yeah, I like that one.
100%. Yeah. I also liked it, probably for a lot of the same overlapping reasons, but there are a couple of things that stood out for me lyrically. Like in the first verse, when he says, like, I came in from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I kind of took that as kind of like, when you get so far away from yourself and you just, I don't know how you guys are, but sometimes like you get to a point where you're unrecognizable to yourself, and it's just like everything's very primal. And then you have somebody that in your life that can root you and bring you back to being human again. And then a couple verses down, this is one of my favorite verses. Said, "Not a word was spoken between us. There was little risk involved. Everything up to that point had been left unresolved. Try imagining a place where it's always safe and warm. Come in," she said. "I'll give you shelter from the storm." I just thought that was so cool, especially like little risk involved with nothing being spoken really too much, because I feel like a lot of times that silence feels like you got to fill it, or it's heavy, or something's wrong if there's silence. So I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Was this one of your top ones, Mundy?
No, I'm pretty much out of top ones.
Well, what were your top three then?
We hit them already. It's
Tangled Up, You're a Big Girl, and
Meet Me in the Middle.
Meet Me in the Morning. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk about the last song because we talk about album closers, and I really think that this is the perfect album closer because so we've talked recently too about like the cool down song. Like this is definitely a cool down song. It's very sparse musically.
So which one are you saying?
Buckets of Rain.
Okay, because so that was the regular album. That's where it ends. But you guys were talking about another song that I had to find elsewhere.
Yeah, Up to Me, Sistine, that should not have been cut from the album.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was it. I did find that and listen to it. But yes, Buckets of Rain ended like the regular album.
Yes, and it was real sparse. Only like 2 instruments on it. And what I really liked is it was, a little bit different than the rest of the album in that it's an ode to a woman. Instead of talking about all his woes and troubles, but he throws this line in, everything about you is bringing me misery. Like even her amazing things and features and the loveliness of everything is bringing him misery. It's like her existence, her still being around is a problem for him. I just felt like that was a great closer and kind of paradoxical, which I like too, as closer of this album. So,
yeah, that was a great track too. I'm interested in if Sistine is still listening. I think that Up to Me, I loved that track, the track that she said got cut. And I think that's kind of where her and I conversation got started a long time ago. But I would like to see where it fit, because I believe
I know what she would remove. She would remove Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts.
Oh yeah. But I feel like Buckets is a great ending. So even though I love this track and don't think it should be cut, I don't think it should end the album. So if Sistine wants to weigh in where she thinks it should fit in the track order, that would be interesting to me.
So while she's doing that, I know she told me earlier that she would remove Lily Rose. Did you guys realize that song is 15 verses, no chorus? About a bank robbery.
That's awesome.
So,
did you realize too that Sistine's notes are like 3,500 words? I looked it up on my word.
3608.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we got a break.
Yeah. But I do think that should be posted somewhere, because if anybody does do the deep dive like we did, this is a great reference.
And we haven't talked about, and we probably won't talk about Idiot Wind much, but talk about one brutal song. Like that is pretty vicious. Let's see. Begin. It all has to begin with it being up to him. Perfect opener. Okay, so she would replace Tangled Up in Blue with that. Okay.
Well, as the opener, not drop Tangled.
Yeah, she would drop Lily.
Yeah.
Which
I could hear it like that.
I felt like the Lily, Rosemary, Jack of Hearts kind of had a Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison vibe to it. Kind of that bouncy.
Right.
It was too long for its own good. I didn't hate the song, but it overstayed its welcome big time. At 15 verses, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
She thinks Idiot Win should have ended it because it goes from blaming to him saying he's also an idiot. Divorce is finalized with the album. Perfect. Will not disagree.
Who are we to disagree with her on this?
With Dr. Deshawn. Okay.
Right.
Well, any final thoughts on Blood on the Tracks? Oh, okay. So I brought this up earlier. So Bob Dylan is considered one of the best of all time, right? Mm-hmm. He's a legend, but he's also, kind of divisive in that people don't like the way he sings and all of that. So is it possible to separate those amazing lyrics from a voice that you don't like? Can you appreciate the writing? Can you listen and enjoy knowing you don't like the way the person sings, but you like the way they write?
Yeah, I that's kind of the point I was trying to make when I was talking about like Trent and things like that. Like,
mm-hmm.
But
you like his voice. Yes,
I do. But I don't know that I did at first, to be honest with you. I think I had to start with, Down In It was the first song I heard. And I was like, what's this rap crap? It's Dean DeMille. So, yeah. But then you have an 8th grade girl break up with you and you're like, what? I need Pretty Hate Machine. But yeah, no, I think this is a perfect example because I've always loved Dylan in a way that I've loved when people cover his songs more than I liked his songs because it added a different voice, like Masters of War when Pearl Jam did that. But this one was such a vulnerable album that I started to connect. This is him singing. This is the guy with the guitar writing poetry and putting it out. And so there was an appreciation that came to be with that. And I loved it. I started to love it for him being the one to sing his own stuff and do his own thing. So long answer to saying, yes, I think that's possible. And I think it happened.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
that's tricky. Go ahead, Mundy.
Yeah. I don't think. Okay, so I can hear like Dylan specifically this applies to, but also I think really anything. I can hear a song and not like the vocals, but still appreciate the songwriting and or the lyrics. If there's there's some Pumpkin songs that I don't love, but I can hear and be like, oh, that's a cool part. Oh, I like the melody he did there. And whatever, or I like the structure of the song or whatever, I can find stuff in it that I like, but if I don't like a vocalist, I'm probably not going to listen to that a ton. So, but there's also, there's a chance that I could revisit it at some point and really like it. That's what I did with Danzig when, Misfits and Sam Hain and all that happened before my time. I came in on Danzig, the band Danzig. First album, I heard it. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. When the second album came out, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And now he's one of my favorites ever since then. And I went back and I now love that first album. And it's, that happens. It does. But initially, if I hear a vocalist that I don't care for, I'm probably not going to seek that out very much, whether I appreciate anything else that's going on or not.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. If you hop in the car and you're going to put a song on, you're going to put on something that you like musically and vocally.
Right.
Because it's just where you gravitate to. I would say if you saw the lyrics written down, you could enjoy this almost as much because, let's be honest, it's poetry. And then he's put it to music. It is written poetically. I don't think you actually need the music to enjoy Bob Dylan. But I like poetry, so maybe I'm a weirdo as far as that goes. But yeah, I don't think you necessarily do. So I don't know. I just thought about that because I had an argument, or not an argument, we started to with Sistine, that if you don't like the singing, you're not going to like or want to listen. If you don't like the music, you're not going to want to listen. Like you need the two together to have that symmetry to enjoy music. And I think to fully enjoy it, you do have to have both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, if you hear something and you don't like something in it, you're just not going to return to that in most cases. That's just, yeah. Especially now, I feel like, as a kid, I had so much more time to sit with music and just devour it over and over and over and over and read the lyrics and just, take it all in. And
you had to buy it, so you didn't have as much,
that too. Yeah.
Or you listen to the radio and you'd hear one song, and then you could maybe earn enough money where you could go out and buy a record. Well, then you just burn through that record a million times because you don't have a bunch.
And now, unfortunately, most of the time, music is what's on in the background while I'm doing something else. And that, whatever I choose for that, is going to be something that is very pleasing to my ear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
JPP, he popped in with Cobain. So,
yeah. Similar situation. That's true. And I think, like anything else we talk about.
I thought Nirvana was a clothing brand.
Oh. I thought it was part of a religion.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, I think we've talked about this a lot of times too, but the also depends on where you are in life when that music hits you, because
yes,
Dylan's been around for as long as I've been listening to music, but it took later in life for me to connect to something like this, and vice versa for a lot of stuff. So
okay,
yeah, I think if it hits you.
Yeah. So what was her question that we need?
It was about the extra song, and it should be on the record, but it should not be the album opener. I really think Tangled Up in Blue. I think it's the old album opener is that the song that would get people interested. It's the radio friendly song. It's usually the rocker, I think that one works better as the opener all day long, but that's just me. I'm sure I'll be told why I'm wrong, but quick, say something, Mundy, save me.
Music, like all art, is completely subjective.
100%.
What I like, you may not. So
yeah,
there is no right or wrong answer.
Do that.
Yeah. You know what? We mentioned Jack White earlier. We missed his new record. We did not review that. Dag nabbit. I haven't even listened to it yet. We've been doing so many other things. I'm going to have to go back now and pick it up.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, all right. Let's rate it like we would a new record and do our usual shebang. Mundy?
Nope.
Go ahead, buddy.
Not touching it.
Come on. What's that score, baby?
Nope.
1 to 5.
I'm not giving it a score. I will definitely say I will probably never, ever in my life sit down and listen to this album again. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. This just means I'm not going to come back to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm kind of in the middle. I won't go back and listen a whole bunch. There are a couple of songs I would definitely go back to, but I'm going to say this because I've said it for a long time. It's one of those things we talk about on the show is I don't like the Beatles, right? I don't like the way they sound. I've never caught on. I get it. I understand their place in history, everything they did. But I'm going to say this. I came into this really not loving Bob Dylan either, but I will say all day long and twice on Sunday, whatever that thing goes, I would listen to Bob over the Beatles any day of the week. And his lyrics are just about a million times better than anything that they wrote. Here is my only real issue that I have with his lyrics. When I listen to music, normally I like songs that I can put myself in. Like, can I step into those shoes? Is it broad enough that I can get that feeling and put my own place in life, wherever I am, into that song? Okay. Yeah. With these, they are quite specific to his life, and you can't do that quite as much. I would say 3.5 out of 5, and I will listen again, but not like on repeat. Go Teabags.
I want to hold on. I want to address what you just said for like the. I totally get what you're saying about putting yourself in the song, of course, and that is especially as a young, deep emo teenager, you know, that of course,
Yeah.
absolutely 100%. I was looking for,
Mhm.
you know, oh, that's how I feel. And oh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, you know, teen angst and all of that. And I think there are ways to do personal songs, you know, songs that feel personal to the person writing the song while also keeping it broad enough to be inclusive.
Mhm.
I don't think that's necessary.
Mhm.
But I think, yeah, you know, a lot, this album is considered without that, you know, being inclusive of everyone. This is considered an absolute classic. So,
Mhm.
you know, I can see both sides of what you said, what you're saying there. But anyway, so
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, Mr. Meadows. I guess I have to like the Beatles now. They objectively sound great. Thank you, sir. I was kidding. Love you, Steve. I do not like the Beatles. Sorry. Respect
Yeah.
them. Don't like them. Okay. T-Bags, what you got?
Yeah, for me, it's I may end up not giving this a rating on record, only simply, and I wouldn't be giving it a bad rating, but as far as listening again, I'm definitely listening again because I've already asked Justine for us to sit down and listen to it together and talk about it.
Mhm.
So I at least have one more listen in my future, and I'm going to be listening again on my own, especially the songs that I like. But as far as the rating goes, I feel like it kind of took this to put me over a certain threshold. Like I always liked Dylan for his writing and songwriting. Didn't like his singing so much, but this kind of changed my mind a little bit. So if I had to give it a rating, it would be in that 3.75-4 range. But also, this is one of those tricky subjects where this isn't the genre I listen to very often.
yeah.
So a 4 or a 5 in something that I listen to all the time is different. So it's hard to give this a number, but I'm definitely going to listen again. I want to read through her notes again, and then I'm going to sit down with her. So I may pop on a different show and retroactively give my number.
Yeah. I really
All right.
feel like the numbers don't matter as much. I'm just glad that we did it, only because you hear about these great records and I wasn't really aware of it very much. So now when
Right.
somebody talks about this record, I can, as somebody who loves music, go, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I feel good about the fact that we took the time. We're going to go 2 more quick comments here. Idiot Wind, the priest wore black on the 7th day and watched the buildings burn. Incredible, because on the 7th day after God created earth, he rested. But after Bob built his marriage, there was no rest. It all burned.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Idiot Wind. Gotta love it. And there was one more comment. And then he waited by the cypress tree. There was symbolizing mourning. I did not realize that about a cypress tree. Did you guys?
No.
No idea.
That's the thing about this that's so much in poetry are the allusions here and the references. You have to be well steeped to get it on initial hearing. So
Yes.
anyway, I'm glad we did it. And I just can't believe, you think you know somebody for a while, Steve Meadows, you think great guy. And then this comes out. And now I don't know if I can talk to you anymore. So
Well, he'll really love this. I'm much more of a Wings fan than I am a Beatles fan.
yeah, maybe too. I don't know.
We're
Beatles.
trolling the trolls, guys. We're trolling the trolls.
Okay. Get some likes and views on this thing. Yeah. No, I never really got the Beatles either. I never got into them, but I'm not trying to make an enemy out of Steve Meadows, but
oh, you don't want to.
yeah.
You don't mess with Metalhead. Oh, but okay, I'm gonna give you some kudos here. You are a big Tool and Pucifer fan. So
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
yeah. Oh, you remember Steve Jeremy? He went with us to Ghost.
Yeah.
So
Yes. And
So
Steve,
it's
we didn't even mention that we went and saw Pearl Jam.
yeah, that's right. He was up there in the same. Well, he didn't even come down and see us. He was too much into the Beatles to come hang out with us low folk listening to Bob Dylan. So
Yep.
all right. Well, anyway, it looks like Sistine will be staying subbed because Mundy does kind of like it. I can tell. I'm choosing to believe that in my delusion.
We'll go with that.
We'll take that. Yeah.
She is on the second floor of the recording studio, so I'm glad that she's happy.
I will take the win.
All right. Well, the official big show will be next week, but I would like to come back in 3 days if that song comes out by Ren, the Cujo beatdown, and discuss exactly how he beats him down. And hopefully we'll have more news too on Sick Boy coming out. It's too bad that if you hadn't heard it, you can't hear it now. So it's a bummer.
There's got to be somebody that ripped that and probably is going to post it somewhere. So we'll see.
I know. I'm excited to hear how different it's going to be.
Sorry. I was just reading that comment.
Yeah, Metalhead. Yeah, Mike McCready was insane at the Pearl Jam concert. That dude is phenomenal. He's such a good guitarist.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything before we head out, Mr. Mundy?
Not really. I was dreading going into this, and it's just I think it was a good experience just because there's no way I would ever have sat down with this if we weren't covering it. So, it kind of, reaffirmed what I do appreciate about Dylan, but unfortunately it also reaffirmed what I don't. So no real shocks here, but it was interesting.
Quick follow-up. This is from our good friend Chris at Tones of Music on Twitter. I had tagged him in this earlier and asked what his song would be. Well, he went ahead and posted it out there not very long ago, but it said, what song could you listen to every day for the rest of your life? We have Pink Floyd on The Turning Away, the live version from Delicate Sound of Thunder. Mm-hmm. We have Amaranthine from Amaranth. The song has been every single one of my music reports for the last 10 years. This person's into it. Queens of the Stone Age, No One Knows. Oldie Station, 21 Pilots. The Faces, Ooh La La. Alive and Kicking, Simple Minds.
Nice.
Ooh, this person wants to be my friend. La Villa Strangiato from Rush, another instrumental.
There you go.
Let's see what else we have. Looks like that's it for now. That's fun. And that would be a horrid life if you could only listen to one thing for the rest of your life.
I know I hated you guys for that, but
but I didn't care because I came up with it in 2 seconds and I didn't think about it again. So I was like, pretty much
same. Yeah, I mean, same for me. That is, that's pretty much my go-to. That's my favorite song. So
yeah, well, I started a spreadsheet and ranked things. And yeah, so
you shouldn't take it so personally, Tony. We're not holding you to it. So
I know I could have said anything, but
Tony had to start a playlist for the last song he'd ever listened to.
I did, yeah.
All right. So next week we will be reviewing Sgt. Pepper's and picking our favorite Beatles song. Join us. No, just kidding. We will be back in a week. We'll let you know what we're doing. We haven't even chosen our record yet. I just know that I'm excited to see what Ren has to do.
Same.
Until then, everybody. Teabags, any last moment, last thing here?
No, I just want people to go back and listen to you. You said Delicate Sound of Thunder. I think you left off the D, and it sounded very Indiana. So,
Thunder.
Delicate Sound of Thunder?
I think you said Thunder.
You said
I don't
Thunder.
think you had a D in there at all. So, just a good reason to go back and rewatch this episode. But other than that, I'm done. I'm good.
Okay. Next week, there will be no more Teabags. So, until then, everybody, we'll see you next week. Bye now.